This is a very quick audio blog. What is going on in our crazy country? And that's a reasonable question I think we can all ask. First, one thing we need to concentrate on is that we can't seem to accurately report any news in the first 48 hours of the news cycle. So this thing, this attack in Dallas, this day of infamy when 5 police officers were murdered. Originally we were told multiple snipers from rooftops, and it turns out to be one guy. So that's a public information officer fail. That's a news media fail. I think it puts it more into perspective that this is not a movement, that this is one disappointed, fragile person who was out of control and decided to murder a bunch of people. Okay, so it is what it is. And we don't need to drastically change public policy. We do not need to drastically respond to this. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that big. But it's disheartening that this would happen in America. We're supposed to be in a post-racial phase. We have, as the American president, a mixed race guy, a guy who's a smart, good-looking guy with a wonderful family, who should usher us out and away from all the problems that, admittedly, the United States of America has suffered, and the horrible things that we've done to people within our own country. But that hasn't happened. So I think there's some big things. I don't want American cities to burn this summer. I don't want this to be a pretext. I do not want this to assist or help a political candidate. I don't want this to be a political tool. But we've got to do better. And there's some more stuff coming out about the recent people that, in my mind, were murdered by law enforcement in Minneapolis and Louisiana. That maybe those guys were bad guys. Well, okay, I'll accept that there might be bad guys, or we might find out some bad things and maybe some negative things that are written on their permanent record. But the police didn't know that. And just because somebody's a bad guy or perceived bad guy, that doesn't give you the right to murder them on the street or in a car. So we should at least have a conviction. And all those things that are required before we get to the point of execution or ending somebody's life. And as an Orthodox Christian person, I can tell you that my philosophy is that life is a gift from God. And the state or another individual does not have the right to take that. That is actual sin against God. To undo that which He has made, you do not have the right to do that. And even with due process, I don't necessarily think the state has the right or the legitimate power to deny somebody of their life. And that'll cause a lot of problems. I'm actually I'm a pro-life guy and an anti-death penalty guy because I believe life is too important to allow these small minds in government, even in the jury box, even in the court system, even on the state Supreme Courts and the national Supreme Courts and all the circuit courts. I think it's too big for them to be able to make a decision about that. They don't, that to make a decision about it that that is not in the affirmative for life, that they are presupposing their superiority over the Creator, and I think that's sort of a blasphemy in its own right. So that's my position. But this idea that someone thinks it's reasonable, or on a yearly basis or monthly basis, I said baseless there for a second, that you think that that's okay, that as a news consumer, as a citizen, that you think it's okay that your local police departments are killing all these people. And, having growing up in a middle-class evangelical house, sort of a crime and punishment, heavy on the punishment house, you have an idea about how these things are. And being in the white majority community, every time there was a problem with law enforcement, a public problem with law enforcement and the black community, from the sort of white middle class standpoint, you would say, we have these mothers crying and said that that their son was a good boy, that trouble always seemed to find him, and that he had promise and that he did not deserve to die. And in the back of your head, you're going, well, he shouldn't have been a crook. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have been a bad person. So I've asked other people, some of my friends across the interwebs, on the Book of Faces even, and our little consensus is that we grew up not knowing what the truth was, and that if you grew up as a black person in the South, where I live, and have lived all my life, that it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same experience as being a majority person, being a white person, under largely the same circumstances. So it is unfair. And if we look at the drug war, we can say that we can make an argument that the drug war itself is a war on black people. And that somebody can be busted for a plant, be told that their drug use will ruin their life, and then have a felony conviction ruin their lives. So they're things that we can do better. And one of the things we can do better is end this joke of a drug war, that we can end these horrible policies that are not in our better nature and do not solve the problems that we pretend that they will solve. So this is until the radio program on Sunday. This is a little message that we are in a weird situation, and let's hope that this summer that American cities don't burn, that it's not a hot summer, that it's a cool summer, and that in the fall we can start thinking heavy about politics and elect a good president. And if not a good president, then the best the best one that we can find. So until I catch you on the radio, I'm Gene Garris. You can catch me at americasradioshow.com and on our terrestrial home at WQXL AM and FM. That's 95.9 FM and 1470 AM in Columbia, South Carolina. And you can look at our station website at www.makethepointradio.com. So catch you on a Sunday soon. Feel free to call in. Telephone number of the station is 803-799-8255, which I believe is 803-799-TALK. You can always send me an email, and most of the time I'll respond back. So you can hit me at DrGenegarris, that's Dr. Gene Garris, at alumni.clemson, CLEMSON.edu. So Dr. Gene Garris at alumni.clemson.edu. So you can send me something that way if you have need to talk. If you want to follow on Twitter, if you want to get the tweets from the tweets from this twit, you can search for me, and the little @ Dr. Gene Garris is my Twitter handle. Or you can go to, I think it's America's Radio X for America's Radio Show, that Twitter account. So either way, hope to see you soon.